Welcome to Making Sense, an investor education program of the Burlington County Library. I'm Carol Glade, a financial educator. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about credit and the wise use of credit and how to get good loans to becoming a smart investing consumer. As a young person, it's important to understand how credit works. So during this video, we're going to explore the basic concepts of credit. We'll talk about credit worthiness and also discuss loans and interest charges. So what is credit exactly? Credit is essentially using somebody else's money today with the promise of paying it back in the future. And it's an obligation to pay it back with interest. And interest is a fee that you pay the company because they don't have use of their money. Many people think that credit is a right, but it really is a responsibility that has to be earned. Lenders or creditors are taking a risk when lending you money, so they want to make sure that you'll be able to pay it back, and that's what we call being credit worthy. There are three essential components to credit worthiness. Okay? First is your capacity or your ability to repay the loan. Having a job and not having too much debt will be considered part of that capacity. And then your character or credit history will also be considered. How have you paid others in the past? That's important. And then collateral, or the things of value that we have, are also important. Because money and savings or a car, which are examples of collateral, can be added to your creditworthiness. Because the better you are at the 3 C's, the better terms you'll get from a lender. All credit is either secured or unsecured. Let's talk about this. Secured credit is basically backed by property or cash. So what does that mean? For example, when you take out a car loan, the loan is actually backed by the physical car, and the same would be for a mortgage. It's backed by the property. If you have unsecured credit, it is only secured by your ability to repay. So unsecured credit is riskier. This would include purchases on a credit card. So if you bought groceries and gasoline and maybe a red sweater on your credit card, the lender would never be able to take back your purchase. So unsecured credit is riskier, and therefore you'll pay more rates or higher rates for unsecured credit. The basic forms of credit are basically service credit, revolving credit, and installment credit. So let's review each one. Service credit is short-term credit, such as your cell phone or doctor's bills. You basically receive the service and then you pay for it. Revolving credit would be an example of a credit card. You can make purchases, pay off the amount, and then add more, and with the balance or the amount you owe changing. And installment credit is usually used for major purchases, such as a home or a car or furniture. With installment credit, you pay a determined amount each month, and you know what that amount will be. And that amount is based on the principal, or the amount of money that you've actually borrowed, plus the interest that you owe on the loan. Credit has its benefits. It can be good. It allows you to buy today and pay later, and you can buy larger items such as a car or a home without having the cash on hand. It's often safer than cash because if your credit card is lost or stolen, it can be protected. And it can provide a cushion for you in emergencies. So if you need a car tire or need some medicine, you can use your credit card to purchase that. And of course, credit card statements can help you track expenses and provide proof of purchase for the future. But credit is not for everyone. So if you have credit, you must be able to show that you're responsible and can handle it. There are two sides to credit, the yin and the yang, so to speak. Some people spend too much when they don't want to because they have the convenience of using credit. Credit fees can add up and increase the cost of the actual purchase. And of course, you have impulse buying. But of course, too, you don't want to get into a bad credit history because how you pay your credit bills will impact your ability to get not only credit in the future, but may impact your ability to get a job. So when you really need credit, you may be unable to get it at an affordable price. Credit can get you into trouble. It can get you into a debt cycle. The more you spend, the more you owe, the more you pay, the more you owe, the higher the fees, etc. And the fees paid for credit is money that you can't save or invest. So the cost of credits, let's review that too. It's important to remember that credit is not free. The annual percentage rate, or the APR, is the amount of interest charged on your amounts owed. When it comes to credit, you want low annual percentage rates. Lenders also charge fees, and these may be fees for applying for a loan, or it may be a late fee, or if you're over your credit limit. And of course, credit card companies allow cardholders to get cash advances if you need it. Remember, cash advances are loans, and they are generally at higher fees. And additional fees can be charged for being late or over your credit limit, or other penalties to even transfer a balance to a different credit card. So the key is to remember that credit is not free. Creditors must send you a statement each month showing how much you owe, listing the purchases you made and any kind of fees and interest and penalties charged. This is just an example. So read your credit card statement and review it. Make sure the amounts you spend are correct and accurate, and that you're paying the amount due in full and on time each month. Credit card statements must also show payment information showing the impact of paying just the minimum due. So for example, on this particular credit card statement, it shows a small minimum payment, but it also shows that if you only made that minimum payment, it would take 11 years to pay off this particular balance owed. The credit card statement must show how long it will take you, and in this case, you can see it'll take many, many years to pay off that $954. Some loans are called amortized loans. This means that you pay a set amount each month, and the amount paid includes the principal, or the amount borrowed, and the interest rate. Let's look at an example. This chart represents a loan that is paid in equal monthly installments of $250 for 5 years. Each monthly payment of $250 includes some amount for principal and some amount for interest. The principal is represented in yellow, and the interest paid is represented in blue. As the loan is paid off, the amount of principal is paid off with each installment increases until the last payment is all principal. So if you end up with extra money, put it toward the principal or the amount you owe. If you want to make an extra payment, this will help pay off your loan faster, and in the end, you'll end up paying less interest. It's important to have an affordable monthly payment for any loan. However, a good loan is more than just the amount of the payment. So the best loans are those offered at low interest rates for short terms with no early payoff penalties. So the true cost of a loan depends on how long you're making this payment. So let's talk, for example, if you have a $100 a month loan for 10 months and you pay $100 a month for 10 months as compared to $100 a month for 20 months, the first loan will only cost $1,000. The second loan will cost $2,000. You're making the same monthly payment. It's for the length of the time you're making the payment. Look at this example of 2 loans to borrow $8,000 at different terms. Notice how the monthly payment is lower for the longer term loan. But look at the amount paid on the entire loan. In the end, the loan with the lower monthly payment actually ends up costing more over the loan period. So having an affordable monthly payment is important, but also figure out the entire cost of the loan over time. If you borrow money and you cannot make the loan payment, or you stop paying on the loan, the lender can repossess or take back the vehicle, for example, and sell it to recoup the amount you owe. You're still responsible for paying the loan and any fees if this happens. So having an affordable monthly payment is important. We discussed many things about credit cards and loans, so let's review a few things. First of all, credit is a responsibility and an obligation to pay back the money you borrow, plus a fee called interest. Credit comes in 2 forms, either secured or unsecured. And unsecured credit, such as credit cards, is higher risk and therefore will cost you more. Credit in all forms must be managed well and not overused. So before getting a credit card, shop around and compare the costs, such as annual fees, the annual percentage rate, and other types of fees associated with it. Using credit wisely to build wealth and develop financial security is really important. Thanks for joining me today. More information on this and many other money management topics is available through the Burlington County Library through the Making Sense website. Visit or contact the Burlington County Library for more information. This program was brought to you by the Burlington County Library System with funding from the American Library Association and the FINRA Investor Education Foundation. Goodbye.